Everyone is panicking at the moment about which businesses AI is going to disrupt, but these are 4 businesses that I think are going to get better with AI, not worse. I'm going to run you through 4 business opportunities that I think will be enhanced by AI. But to make it work, there's going to be a secret ingredient that's not AI that makes all of this really work. Now, there's a lot of bright, shiny objects in the market at the moment, and people are promoting all sorts of business opportunities, but there are some tried and tested ones that I think are robust enough to withstand the times that we're in. I know that AI is going to disrupt absolutely everything, and I think these business models are ones that actually incorporate AI to become even better. If I was starting from scratch, these 4 businesses are the ones that I would be focused on. And to be honest, out of the 7 companies that I currently run, these are some of the businesses that I have in my group of companies. Okay, business opportunity number 1 would be consulting. A consulting firm or a management consultancy firm is going to be very valuable at the moment because people are going through a lot of change. Now, the big management consulting companies, they have huge overheads. They have way too many people. They have way too many layers of bureaucracy. Small, nimble, dynamic management consultancies are going to be the ones that make a lot of profit. Now, the beauty of a consulting firm is that you can have a small dynamic team, but you can build big demand with this secret ingredient that I will cover at the very end. But what I like about consulting is that it's limited in its nature. And with that constrained supply, if we add excessive demand, the price stays high and there's lots of profitability. The other thing that I believe is that every business on the planet right now is going through change and transformation. And when businesses go through change and transformation, they want to work with consultants. They want to work with people who know what they're talking about and have done it before. Now, you personally, you might have skills, you might have experiences, you might have an interesting origin story or a proof story that you can leverage into high value consulting. If your previous role took you into the realms of any form of business transformation, you could take those proof stories and leverage them into new different businesses. You could do consulting in health and safety. You could do consulting in growth. You could do consulting in efficiency. You could do consulting in hiring amazing talent. Whatever it is that you know about, you can consult on that. Now, here's the really cool thing. With bigger businesses, especially those between 5 and 50 million of existing revenue, they can afford to buy some consulting and they have the existing base of revenue to be able to leverage that and get a great return on investment. See, if they spend 100 grand with you and you can show them how to do $1 million worth of uplift, that is an amazing 10x return on investment. You're a winner for getting a 6-figure consulting gig. They're a winner for finding $1 million worth of uplift. To make this work, you're going to need this secret ingredient that I will cover soon. But for now, a management consulting firm is opportunity number 1. Opportunity number 2 is an agency that does something technical. Now, the reason that I think this is a really good opportunity is because AI really does a lot of the heavy lifting now. You can use co-pilots, you can plug AI tools in, which means you can have a smaller number of technical team who can get a lot more done because of their technical expertise mixed with AI. Now, when I talk about technical, I'm talking about IT services, I'm talking about engineering, I'm talking about architecture, I'm talking about accounting and legal. I'm talking about the types of businesses where most of the people who work there have some sort of advanced technical qualification. Now, the way that you're going to make money out of this is through arbitrage. You're going to have a small team of highly technical people, and you're going to be able to leverage technology and remote workers to be able to arbitrage that technical expertise into bigger companies. Now, you've probably heard that AI is going to wipe out all of these businesses. I don't think that's the case. I think it's going to make these types of businesses more efficient, and these businesses still provide an enormous amount of value, but they've been running so inefficiently over many, many decades. Now is the moment where these can become highly efficient and high margin businesses. Now, there is a reason why most technical businesses are not wildly profitable, and that is because the people who run technical businesses are supply side focused. They're always thinking about doing the work. They rarely think about winning the work. The people who make these businesses work the best are people who are very focused on winning the work. They're demand side focused. Now, there's a way to make a technical business work. And once again, it's this secret ingredient I'm going to share with you in a minute. It's going to make all of this make sense, but this is going to ramp up demand. Demand relative to constrained supply. I like consulting and I like technical agencies because they have very constrained supply, and there is now an opportunity for arbitrage. But the key to making them work is this here, which is going to drive the demand. Now, you may think that if you're going to start an architecture business or an engineering business, that you need to be this person yourself. You need to have those qualifications. Now, there's multiple ways that you can get around this. You could hire a lead person who's in that role. You could co-found the business with a lead person who's in that role. Or thirdly, You could buy a business that's already up and running and already has these technical people in the role, and then you take over one of the key roles to promote the business. Now, think about someone like Sir Richard Branson. Now, Richard Branson didn't know how to run a technical business like an airline when he launched Virgin Atlantic, but he found a co-founder called Randy Fields who became the technical expert. This guy had worked for Laker Airlines. This guy knew all the technical aspects of how to run an airline, and he freed up Richard Branson's time to promote the airline. Sometimes going into an industry that's highly technical, when you don't have those qualifications and skills, can be a superpower because you speak the language of the customer and your technical team know how to execute. Okay, the third opportunity is something that is really boring and dull. It's one of those businesses that just ticks away in the background and no one hardly even notices it. This could be a business that is a contractor to local councils. It could be an air conditioning maintenance business. It could be an elevator repair business. It could be a cleaning contracting business, or it could be a printing and publishing business. It's a stock standard, boring business. Now, some of the wealthiest people that I've ever come across have made a ton of money in businesses like this. Waste removal, cleaning, electrical contracting, basic IT services, customer service help desk. These boring businesses that tick away in the background, they can make big money. They can be a license to print money while everyone else is doing something exciting that loses money. These guys are always making money in the background. Now, the key to making a boring business work is treating it like it's an exciting business, to understand what are the exciting elements to this business. And one of the things that will give you superpowers is what's to come. The final business that I absolutely adore is software. Software as a service in particular is an amazing business. You create a software package, you create a tool, an application that's valuable. This software can provide something of value that's 5 to 10 times more valuable than the subscription cost. You might charge $30 a month for something that provides $100, $200, or $300 a month worth of value. In some cases, you can create software that eliminates thousands of dollars worth of costs for every $10 that is spent. Software is a powerful product. Now, once that software is embedded into another organization, they just keep paying every single month. It's subscription revenue. It used to cost a fortune to develop software. It was hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars to produce software. But thanks to AI, the costs have come right down. What used to cost $500,000 could now be created for $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 and could still be an amazing piece of software with a much smaller development team. Now, before I was a software entrepreneur, I resisted this because I thought I had to be a coder. I thought I had to know technical skills. I had to talk to developers and know what they were talking about, and I had to understand what Python was and Ruby was and all of these types of things. But since becoming a software entrepreneur on multiple companies that produce software, I've discovered that it's the entrepreneurial skill set that really makes the software business work. See, software developers, they're great at building products, but they need to know what to build. They need to know how is it going to get sold. They need to understand the marketplace, and it's the entrepreneur who translates all of that for those software developers. Now, the beauty is that today you only need a very small team to create a really punchy product, and if you can get out there and market it and get to 1,000, 2,000, maybe 5,000 subscribers, you've got yourself an incredibly valuable business. These businesses are great because once you get enough subscribers to cover the running costs of the business, every new subscriber is almost 100% profit. Now, with all four of these opportunities, we must have this secret ingredient. So what is this secret ingredient I've been talking about? I'm talking about the founder brand. We call it the key person of influence. The key person of influence is the face of the business. Now, if you want to have a really profitable consulting business, technical business, boring business, or software business, putting a key person of influence at the front of it is the key to making it work. See, LinkedIn did some research and they found that personal brands are 20 times more powerful than business brands. So whereas most people in the industry who are building any of these four businesses, they're focused on trying to build a business brand, the smartest in the industry are building a personal brand that sends people over to this business brand. They lead with the personal brand and they make lots of sales over here. See, all businesses are a relationship between demand and supply. And only when demand outstrips supply do you get profit. If your business is overly focused on the supply side of what you do and you don't put enough focus on the demand side of what you do, you will only ever get wages at best. But when you have a key person of influence whose full-time job is driving demand, and you have a constrained supply of something, then you get really great profit opportunities. If you can get tens of thousands of people following you with your personal brand, if you can get lots of views, lots of engagement, and you can send it over to one of these four businesses, you've got yourself a profitable business that can also be sold. See, one of the best things you can do is build one of these businesses, put some systems in place, get some great people over here who are talented and who are running the business, and then you can look at selling that business. Now you might think, But if you've got a personal brand, that means you can't sell these businesses. Nothing could be further from the truth. Richard Branson sells virgin businesses all the time. Now, how does it work? When you sell one of these businesses to a bigger competitor, they buy the business and then they hire you as the key person of influence to continue to run little campaigns for these businesses until such time as they can take over the business. It could be 12 to 18 months of really high day rates to come in and do 1 day a month worth of video or 1 day a month worth of consulting to keep those businesses running. It's a powerful way to sell your business and have an amazing cash flow stream on top when you, as the key person of influence, continue your involvement. So in every industry, there are key people of influence whose names come up in conversation, they attract all the opportunity, they make all the money. These are people who don't focus on the technical delivery of what they do, they focus on the demand generation, and they use 5 key tools that we talk about all the time. They have really great pitching skills, they publish a lot of content online, they focus on the choices to make the products better, they raise their profile, and they do joint ventures and partnerships. And with those 5 Ps, they position themselves as the key person of influence, the personal brand in the industry. They engage in founder-led growth, and it's one of the most powerful ways to make serious money. Now, if you want to explore the best path to becoming a key person of influence, come and join me for my 90-minute workshop that I'm running in the week ahead. I would love to see you there. It's a live webinar environment, and we can do some Q&A, and I can really run into some depth on how you can become a key person of influence. There'll be a link in the description to the Key Person of Influence workshop. I hope you enjoyed that video. Give it a like, give it a subscribe, give me a comment, or share this with an entrepreneur who you know who's looking for a good opportunity. Go be brave, go have fun, go make a big dent in the universe, and I'll see you soon.